when everyone was slowly shuffling out like drunk penguins from the Aragon, because that place is just like a living fire hazard, like single file down like the one staircase. I
Mhm.
looked up and I saw the most disgusting cloud of mist that was from people's sweat just hanging over. And like I was like I had a couple drinks in me, and I remember just like looking up and I was just like, I'm gonna get sick from that. And surely enough, I got the Charlie variant of COVID. Like it was not good.
Did you guys know that at the Aragon Theater, when they kicked the helmet at the Aragon Theater, they actually broke their toes? Did you guys know that?
No,
Yeah.
Wow.
that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so the reaction on camera was real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of a living fire hazard, Ariana Grande dropping heat with her new album, Eternal Sunshine. And we're going to talk about it on this episode of I've Been Mean to Listen to That. Click.
Remember that record that you bought me like 2 years ago? Well, I just remembered that it's sitting in the closet. So I called you up just to tell you I've been meaning to listen to that. I've been meaning to listen to that. Why don't you come over and talk about it? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Why don't you come over and talk about it?
So that's
You
pretty
guys
cool.
know the story that everybody overtells about the actor Aragon kicking the helmet in Lord of the Rings, right?
I literally made that connection after you stopped talking about that. Like at first, I'm like, "What the hell is he talking about?" What
I
helmet?
can tell I got a "what the hell are you talking about" reaction instead of
was
a
good.
funny niche reference. But some would say too niche, maybe.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
But hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to I've Been Mean to Listen to That, the podcast where we go through albums we've been meaning to listen to and use as a conduit to learn about each other and our guests. I'm Andrew Ambrose Lee.
I'm Michael Limentato.
I'm Stanley Philippe.
And oh boy, we got a great guest here. He's a writer at Sputnikmusic, and he got doxxed by a bunch of Swifties one time. It's Dakota Foss, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. What was that like? Was that cool?
It was a very strange experience. Like, I have this tweet that's in Portuguese, I think, that I saved, where somebody was casting like a hex on me.
Oh my God.
And like it was a super bizarre experience because like my Twitter, like I stopped using like my old Twitter account years ago. So there's not like I don't have much of like a public online breadcrumb on there, but there was like one friend of mine from college that like tagged me in something from like 2011, and her name was like Liv. And so I had at least a dozen Swifties like in my inbox, like taunting me this fake storyline, being like, "Oh, why do you have to make fun of Taylor Swift's music? Is it because Liv broke your heart?" And I'm like, what the hell? Like these people are bringing up tweets from 2011 that somebody else made like about me, and it was just like my friend. So it was a crazy experience. There was like a 24-hour period where I was like, did I really mess up? Like, are these people gonna like harass me and like find things out? Like my address or something, but turned out to be fine.
Okay, good. Yeah, like Doc, by the way, like it's one of those things like that's never happened to me yet, like being doxxed by like a Swiftie or anything like that. But it's like one of those things like gun control, like this could happen to you. Like
Andrew,
you know,
I love how you said yet.
Yeah.
It's like on your bucket list.
I aimed
has
it.
to
I
happen.
I think it should happen at least once. But welcome to the show. Hi Dakota. This is such a pleasure to finally connect with you. Let's talk about Ariana Grande and Eternal Sunshine. Dakota, let's start with you. What is your history and preconceived notions with Ariana Grande?
Yeah, I got into her I want to say when Problem came out, off of That's Not My Everything. What album is that?
I think it is on My Everything.
Oh yeah. I always mix up My Everything and whatever what's the name of her first album then?
Her
Yours
first-
Truly?
Yes, Yours Truly.
Yes, okay. Yeah, that's kind of like an amorphous blob there. But I got into her when Problem dropped because that was like when Pitchfork was kind of like in its poptimism phase, where poptimism wasn't like fully crystallized yet, but Pitchfork like every year would pick out like 3 mainstream songs and be like, that's all you're getting. Like we're giving those the cosign. So I liked a little bit of yours truly. Honeymoon Avenue was a bop.
Honeymoon Avenue is so good.
So good, so good. And the production on that, hilarious. That outro is maybe the most unnecessary outro of all time.
It's super extra. It's so theater kid. I really enjoy it.
Well, yeah, and it has like the very 2000 whenever that album came out, like 2012 or 2013, it has those super deep bass vocals that go like Honeymoon Avenue, honeymoon, and it goes on for like 30 seconds and you're like,
oh yes, it's like Honeymoon Avenue,
yeah,
kind of is what it's
like none of that was necessary. None of that. But yeah, I got into her from Problem and kind of like faded away for a little bit, and then when Poptimism was really kicking into full gear in like 2017,
Wow.
the Popheads subreddit was like never shutting up about Dangerous Woman. So I got into Dangerous Woman and I was like, this is pretty good. But then ever since Sweetener, I'm a full-blown Arianator when it comes to her music.
I gotta workshop this name. I don't know.
I hate Arianator. There's nothing
I
better,
don't like
though.
it either. And that is how you pronounce it too,
Sweeteners, that could be something.
I believe
don't
so.
know. Well,
How about Dangerous Women?
right? Sure.
I got doxxed by a bunch of dangerous women.
I'm like, get me on the phone with Ariana Grande's stat.
Oh man. So yeah, what happened after that? Like, what's
Do
yeah?
you
What
guys think
happened?
Ariana Grande could pick up the phone with her sweater sleeves in the way? Do you still think she has all those big sweaters?
I hope so.
Is that even her style anymore?
No,
It's not
no,
her
for
style,
sure
no.
not. I just think about one of my favorite of all time COVID TikToks, which is Ariana Grande making you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it was someone absolutely ruining a sweatshirt, dipping their hands into peanut butter and jelly.
That's really fun. Yeah. So what about now? Like, where are you at with her now?
I don't know. Like she is somewhere high on my list. Like I think that like her music makes me want to say like really unnecessarily like grandiose things where like I think that she might be like grandiose, whatever. Like tomato.
She's Italian, is why.
I think that she might make like she might be the best like bona fide pop music in like the traditional sense. Like I think that she might be the best pop artist in her time.
I think that's very fair. Yeah. I don't think
like-
that's like a crazy thing to say.
Okay, well, you know, when it comes to like number one there, like Charlie is certainly more like forward thinking. And you know, I love Charlie to death. And you know, someone like Taylor Swift does like numbers, but I don't really know if you could consider what Taylor does to be pop anymor. She's
Or
almost like
art.
her- Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh, no,
yes.
They're coming for you.
Look, if I wanted to make a bunch of mid-tempo beats and then just read my Tumblr journal entries over it, like I don't know. Like I can make proper nouns. Like I can sing those and pretend that it means something. No, I love Ariana's music. I think that like it's weird to say. I think that she's like really underrated still.
Yeah,
like
I think
this
so.
out. I mean, I'm sure that we'll get into it in this conversation, but this album is phenomenal, and it only came out a couple months ago and had 2 number 1 hits, and nobody's talking about it except for us.
Yeah.
This album is
finally.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I think there's
finally.
just so much music coming out that it's honestly drowned out by the noise. And also Ariana Grande is so popular for her personal life too, that I think people get caught up just wanting to chit chat about that, especially with Wicked coming out too. Like there's just a lot going on in her zeitgeist that I feel like it's like easy for a very good album to just get lost, even though that's her main thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, she's also like not doing like dances on TikTok. Like she's not like gotta do the
Do the
yes
apple
it
dance.
yeah
Do the
yeah
apple dance.
but yeah, like it's there's that. She's like focused on Wicked. She had that post like I'm gonna focus on Wicked. I'm not gonna do any of that other stuff.
Oh, and it was like me in me in 8th grade or something.
Yeah. But like she's also like kind of like we talked about this the last Ariana Grande episode we did. Like she might be like one of the last pop forward stars in the mainstream way. Like I don't see Charlie doing the same thing that Ariana Grande does or Beyonce does. Really, I'm, but like in the way like we don't have like movie stars anymore. The same like they're gonna be like people who are super popular in their own little like sector or in their own little niche, like very very popular, but never in the same way like everyone's super into this one person in the same way. I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah,
But what? Yeah. Sorry.
I totally agree with that. I was actually thinking about that today when I was thinking about like things to talk about um for this
Good that you
album.
thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Proud
to
of you.
quote Charlie, like I think about it all the time.
Oh.
All the time. And yeah, she really just dropped this album and like doesn't do any promo like whatsoever. She did like SNL.
Oh yeah.
And that like yeah,
She did
had a
hot
great
ones like last week. Like too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like more for Wicked, I feel like, than it is for
Yeah.
this album.
It's
Also,
very,
did you guys watch that Hot Ones? Pretty good
did.
Hot Ones.
Very
She's
good.
very charming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's kind of like a method actor freak, I think, a little bit, because I'm like, why are you acting like Glinda right now? Like, you are acting like Glinda. But that's okay, I guess. Just something I thought about while watching it.
Mhm.
It's like, my impression of Glinda eating a hot wing. Oh!
Yeah, I think that's Ariana Grande, though. I think what makes her both amazing and forgetful is that she can almost like mimic every single artist that you love. Like, I mean, literally, her Celine is legendary. And so I think sometimes you forget how good she actually is. And the throwback, Dakota, that you're talking about when it comes to pop stars, like if I think about Mariah, Whitney, like some of the really big stars of the 90s and early 2000s, like uh the gymnastics that they did with their vocals was the theater, and now it's almost like the live shows, the rollouts, they're all part of the theatrical release. But with Ariana, it's still her vocals that is the star of the show, right? Like she's not going to put on like a spectacle like a Chappell Roan might, but she can still like belt like nobody else since maybe Mariah. Like you know what I mean? Like she can go note for note with anybody, and
You can hear them dueling it out on the Yes and remix if you want.
yeah,
we don't have to do that.
But you
We don't have to
can.
talk about that one.
But you can.
Yeah, there's that. And then also like she's also like underrated as like an artist too, like the way she like creates self-portraits of herself. Like she's been through so much shit and so much pain and trauma. Like she's a Dan Schneider child actor, and then she went through the Manchester thing, and then she dated all these people, and then like
And
Mac
she's still
Miller.
singing.
Yeah, but like the idea of like she creates these to not lose herself, she creates these self-portraits with her albums, so we know who she is also in the midst of it too. She's not like a machine. She's not like just like a arm of a machine in a way. I think that's really cool. But before we sorry. Wait.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like that is such a good point that you brought up, Andrew, about like all the stuff that she's been through. Like many people will say, "Oh, I love music. Music is my therapy." Is it compared to Ariana Grande? Like she gets back in the booth, like she had her fiance, her former like soulmate pass away, and like on top of unimaginable grief, and then she just hops in the booth and turns in a #1 hit and one of the best albums of her career. Like
Yeah.
like one of the things that I really appreciate is like Ariana the person, I really don't know that much about her, but Ariana the artist is like unreal, and she does really put all of her emotions whatever she's feeling at the time into whatever she's recording. And that's why it's so messy. That's why if you look at the lyrics, and there's a song called Pete Davidson, like when that track
shout out.
when that track list came out, everybody was like,
no, literally, we all saw the writing on the wall. Like Pete Davidson is dating Michelle Obama right now. So
yeah. But it's like, you know what? Like she's unafraid to roll up her sleeves, her long sleeves.
Yeah.
And
it takes a few days to like roll them up.
Make a sandwich.
Yeah.
And make a sandwich. You're right.
Yeah. It's gonna take a minute, but she's not afraid to get in the muck and the mire of her emotions.
Really quickly, let's go through Stanley and Michael. What's your history with Ariana Grande for those who might not be familiar?
I've been on board for a long time. Michael's pick episode was Dangerous Woman. That's a core pop album for me. Pop heads, I think, did it. I was a Reddit pilled child, but in the fun gay way, not in the weird anti-vax way. So I got to
so good job.
Yeah, whew, that was a close one. Getting Reddit pilled can mean two different things, I guess.
Did you solve the Boston Marathon?
I actually was part of that group that incorrectly solved the Boston Marathon. I like looked through it. I never commented anything, but I was like, I think everybody's pretty right here. This seems good. This seems right.
We did it, Reddit.
Yeah, we did it, Reddit. We did it, Joe. We did it, Tim. Are you ready for your next big fake phone call? So exciting. Sorry, guys.
Making yourself laugh. Like...
I am sorry. Dangerous Woman, love it. Been a big fan for a long time. Kind of fell off of their. Actually, my first ever episode of this show was Positions, which I think is maybe my least favorite of her albums. So
yeah, for sure.
I had a little bit of a yo-yo with her. So I'm very glad that I loved this, because not to preempt my thought on this, but there you go.
There you go, Stanley. Yeah.
I'm really excited for the debate between Kamala and Donald, because we might get that "do not come" moment.
Do not come. I'm gonna come
live. That'd be so good.
Yeah, just without me having to edit it at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
do not come
Ariana.
into the White House.
I'm gonna come
into the White House. Sure you are, you freak.
Fuck. Okay, now I don't know what to say. Ariana, great singer. I mean, yeah, she's awesome. I think she's one of the torchbearers, to quote the Olympics, of pop music. And she's passed the torch to like this new generation. But this album is kind of like her sitting back and saying, like, kind of like Simone Biles will do next Olympics. She'll sit back and look and say, wow, like these new artists are so good. But don't forget that I'm still capable of putting together an amazing piece of work. So she's a really amazing singer. She's not for me all the time, but she is so good, and I can respect that.
Yeah, that, and then also like she hasn't fallen off yet. Like Katy Perry is falling off like really hard.
Oh my god.
It's
a horrible comparison.
Yeah, not everyone can do it. Not everyone could make six albums in a row that are good. Not everyone could do it. So it's like really
but I feel like with that though, like for all the success that Ariana has had, maybe her team is just doing a very good job, because when it comes to like her music or her makeup line or whatever, like obviously she has like this entire marketing machine behind her, and she's definitely pulled some tactics like the remixes for this album to like boost her numbers up. But I really don't get the sense that Ariana like cares about her celebrity or like the charts that much. Like it kind of seems more so that, like, obviously from how successful she's been, she has this team that's invested that will do everything they can. But like, she's not doing like the in music video endorsements like Katy Perry's doing right now.
Yeah.
Katy Perry's, did you guys watch the Lifetime's music video? It's insane. No. It's just watch these clips of me on vacation to this terrible song. Which
think
is terrible in a different way from Woman's World, which is instead of making way too many choices, I've made absolutely no choices.
But yeah, what's the song called? Like, by the way, like Lifelines.
Lifetimes. It's like I'll love you for lifetimes. But that's like the whole song. It's terrible.
Actually, I felt kind of bad because I
you like kids like that song?
no. I actually still have not listened to it. But I was on Twitter earlier today, and I saw that Katy Perry tweeted out like a clip from that music video, and it said, "Have you all listened to Lifetimes yet?" And I almost retweeted it saying no.
That would be funny.
But I showed
Honestly, at this point, it feels like punching down to Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad.
yeah, like I don't know, like it true, like in a way I feel bad for her, but in another way
Yeah,
I
for
don't,
sure.
because she like kind of sucks.
Yes.
But like society has like truly moved past the need.
Whoa.
For Katy Perry, we
Yeah.
no longer need a Katy.
We don't need a Katy Perry.
Thank goodness.
I was on board when you said society. I was like, yeah, you're right. But like, anyways.
So true.
But yeah, I think I meant more like in quality, in terms of like quality of the music, like more. I actually think her quote unquote not caring about the numbers and not caring about the numbers, but still churning out quality is what makes this album so, in a way, like really interesting, really good. Let's get into the themes of Eternal Sunshine then. Dakota, what did you take away from this album in a macro sense?
I think that this was a brilliant kind of I don't want to call it a comeback. Like she went away for a couple of years, but it wasn't anything like too crazy. But it was such a this is like the complete opposite of Positions, where I'll be a little more charitable to Positions than Michael, and like Positions is a very low stakes album, but I think it's full of bops, and it's like it's an album like I don't know how this ritual started, but it is my go-to album when I'm washing dishes. Like for some reason, when I'm washing dishes, I'm just like, yeah, I'm down like 6:30, like
Picking up some dishes for you.
yeah, exactly. But Positions feels like a very like hollowed out album, where it feels like the entire album she's trying to convince us that this is the love that's gonna last. The engagement that I just had with this man that I've been dating to for 6 months, and like no judgment there, but I really appreciate that on Eternal Sunshine, it's getting into some very messy, very visceral and real emotions on it, and the album ends on like a pretty compelling note where it's like this might not work out. I might have like. I mean, she doesn't go as far as like spelling it out, but like there's a little bit that's like I might have just like ruined SpongeBob's family's life. like I might not end up with this man. Like this might all be
Sorry
for
to
nothing.
this man. Yeah.
Yes, but in this moment, I'm happy, and like I've been through a lot, and like that means something, and that's it. That's like that is like maybe the most mature take that she's had in a very long time, and it's also like a very real note. So I really appreciated this album's like honesty and its like commitment to really delving into a lot of these like messy emotions, but never really making like the sort of spectacle that I think a lot of people were expecting out of it,
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't really linger other than like The Boy Is Mine. It doesn't like linger into the fact like, yeah, I was the other woman and like I came out on top. It's just like I've been through a lot and this guy makes me happy, and like
yeah, and she could have been public enemy #1 and kept that spot for a long time, because like frankly, like SpongeBob leaving his family and the whole drama about his like baby and everything, like making no considerations for his kid, like that's all like that sucks, and then being able to like make this album and then people still love it and they're kind of like, but not you, it's not your fault probably, right? Like that's a feat of its own, I feel. Sort
of like I feel like at least in my neck of the woods, I don't feel like there's been too much small beanification of
No, I'm not saying we've made her a small bean. I think
For
it's
sure.
more so. I think it's more so. It's like you are a complex person, and we understand that complex people can do complex things, and that's like
Mhm.
hard to wrap our minds around. Which is like nuance in a society that craves no nuance. Is more what I mean.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would still probably say like at least in my sphere of things, like people this album itself didn't really change people's minds. It wasn't really until like the Dan Schneider series. What was that called? Quiet on
Quiet
Set,
on
right?
set.
Yeah. It wasn't until that where people were like, "Oh yeah, that did happen." And like then there's been a couple other dominoes that fell into place where it's like, "Oh yeah, she did have a terrorist attack at one of her
People
shows."
forgot. Like people
It's
just like
crazy.
yeah.
Like like I don't want to I don't want to let her off the hook with like some of the bad stuff, but like my goodness, like
But
Yeah.
Dakota, she's just a small bean.
she's just a small bean. Like like I'm standing up with a megaphone saying she's just a small bean. Do you see how large her sweatshirt is on her?
Yeah, but it's like but yeah, like I feel like this album is another self-portrait in a way, like the way she does so well. You know, and this one she comes across like a messy woman. Instead of dangerous woman, it should be called messy woman. Like in the way like
Dangerous women rise up.
like oh no, they're gonna get me. But like
Dangerous woman hive. Where y'all at?
but yeah, like it's like she's processing a lot of pain and trauma. She has a capacity to hurt other people, but she's searching for home, searching for identity, searching for peace, searching for love, while looking and sounding good doing it. Like that's like the portrait she's painting of herself.
I think it's super. There's like songs about being in love. I think she feels in love in a way that I feel like feels so genuine. She's able to like put that to music
Yeah.
really well, like in a very. She's so like ethereal in the way she makes music a lot of the time that it's like supernatural is like songs like that just hit so well because like I believe that she feels like this when she's in love. You know what I mean? Or Ariana Grande, the artist, can feel this way. You know?
Mhm. Yeah, I think you're right. It's believable, and I think it's a great ad for therapy. If you had to like make a soundtrack to a therapy session, like this is the soundtrack, right? And like I think what makes this so easy to digest is that it's not conclusive. Like she's not going out there saying like, "Oh, I did this and this is the result," or "I didn't do this, so fuck off," or "I'm still me," or "I'm great." Like she is just like feeling the feels and giving you access to the process of understanding her real life in real time. And I think it's hard for people to judge that, right? Like when someone's just saying like, "Hey, let's have a one-way conversation," and I'm not sure where it's gonna go, but I'm gonna give you amazing like production for you to be able to understand, hopefully, what I'm trying to do, and and obviously the inspiration, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, right?
Mhm.
The movie, Jim Carrey's movie, the idea of like erasing the things that you've done, right? Like, and that comes up over and over and over and over again throughout this record. So I think she's looking back a lot, and I like nostalgia because it gives you a chance to check yourself and then also to relate to the artist, right? Like for me is she's very unrelatable, but I can understand like questioning some of the decisions you made in love and
Mhm.
how some of them panned out, some of them didn't pan out, and then your next thing that you're so sure of may not pan out either. Like
Mhm.
it's just a lot of like what ifs. So I think that's what makes this album really fun to listen to.
Yeah, like two things about the therapy thing, like one observation, then two things about the therapy thing is one, she's also like very the Eternal Sunshine movie is very millennial code. It's very like a touchstone for millennials. Like this is the movie, just like the way Mean Girls was for the Thank You Next album. And like she's a very like so she is very relatable,
Or
even
like
though
or like Interstellar for Dangerous Women. Go on.
yeah, yeah. But like
I love this song on Dangerous Woman about her ghost dad pushing books off a bookshelf.
Yes.
But yeah, like,
Wait, what's this song? The planet where every second is a year?
That's Pete Davidson.
oh man, reading those articles. But like it's like so there's that, like that's why there's a relatability to it. And like a lot of millennials are in therapy, and like that's a great thing, but it's also like a incomplete solution to dealing with, like, it's just like having tools by your tool belt. You have to like use them. It's like more so like, and like, and then like a lot of this album's about like setting boundaries of herself and her audience. Of like, the line that I think is the key of the album is like, why do you care so much about whose dick I ride? Where it's like, one, especially if you don't have the full story. Two, you're not owed this full story. Three, if I tell you the full story, you're still going to attack me. And then, so there's like a defensiveness, like, which is like, like, why are you so obsessed with me? Like, leave me alone to make this bad decision. But also there's like setting a boundary. But then there's also like provocation for the audience to go to therapy. Like, why do you care? And then no one on the Reddit threads are like, man, I care because like my dad left my mom and she cheated on him like a lot. It was like, no one's like doing that self-reflection when they're like participating in the gossip machine, really. So there's that. And then there's also like, Yes and being the philosophical cousin to Thank You Next, where Thank You Next and anthemizes the concept of showing gratitude and moving on, but that album was not processed like that. She made that right. Clearly, like, she made it right after all that shit happened, and then the next song is like break up with your boyfriend, so she's clearly not like processed it. And then like Yes and is like the next step of it, of like, it anthemizes accepting things for what they are and then building off of that. So it's just and then you need to, but I think that's where the therapy comes in. Like, you have to process it to accept what it is.
Yeah, agree. I agree with that connection of Thank You Next and Yes and. Very, very good, Andrew. Well done.
Yeah, that
Very good.
You're welcome.
I remember like the first time going through Thank You Next, like the entire album. I was like, sheesh. She's been through a lot. And then you get to the last song and she's just like, ah. And you're like, whoa, like, what the hell is going on? How do you start off like back to back with Imagine and
oh my god,
what's the other song?
Needy.
How do you start off with Imagine and Needy, and then you
like,
the Into NASA, like, you do that, and then like, the last song is break up with your
boyfriend because I'm bored. Yeah, girlfriend.
Girlfriend because I'm bored. Like, I thought that was such a, like, artistically, that was a genius move, because like that I think she's been slowly, consciously or not, she's done a lot of the boundary setting like throughout her music. And break up with your girlfriend. Yes. Break up with your girlfriend. Kind of
stop by erasing.
Yes, whatever she
break
wants
up
to do.
with your partner.
Well, like, what was the line from Thank You Next that I have everyone into tizzy when they're like, "'Cause her name is Ari, and I'm so good with that," or whatever.
Oh, because people thought she was saying
was
Aubrey.
really into tizzy over that.
Yeah, whatever. I'm losing the plot here with this tangent, but
no way.
But the final song on that album was kind of like, yes, I've been through all this. Yes, it's been very difficult on me. Yes, this is me ruminating on all of it. No, you don't know anything about me. I'm gonna do some crazy shit. You'll never guess what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna steal another man. And then everybody's surprised when she goes out and steals another man.
Yeah,
she told us.
Yeah, for sure. Any other themes? Any other like kind of like broad macro things?
No more themes. I want to talk about the album.
Yeah, all right.
I will before we like delve into the album proper. Like, a lack of a theme, I think that deserves a call out this is probably the least horny that an Ariana Grande album has ever been.
She's dating SpongeBob.
Do you think when he walks around, his feet go like blink, boom, blink, boom, blink, boom,
like the boots?
Yeah, like the boots at SpongeBob. I'm not good at doing that impression, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
right?
I know. Yeah. She's like, she was ahead of the curve with the rat, like scrawny rat boy summer. Like, she's
no,
like
literally, she's like, watch me do this a year early.
Yeah. Innovator. Yeah, let's talk about songs then. Let's talk about some highlight songs and lowlight songs. Right after this break. Click.
I like this album. I think this
Yeah.
is good, especially because I fucking hate Positions. Actually, the more time passes, the less I like Positions. So
That's actually kind of crazy. I think I've grown to like Positions more as time's gone on.
no, I put it on the other day to just be like, let me think what do I think about this, and it's like so many of the songs sound exactly the same, and it's like 34, 35. What are you talking about? It adds up to 69. That's nothing. Like it's not even clever. And then Off the
fine.
Table is not good. 630 is not good. Safety Net.
Okay. No, I have a little like moment with 630 where that might be my favorite song on the record other than POV.
What are you talking about?
Okay, listen. I can have bad
get
takes.
your popcorn
all right?
ready.
All right, I'm just like Ariana here. I'm allowed to have bad takes, okay? I'm a human.
I just don't know what you're talking about. You're not a small bean like her, so I can't agree with you on
I
everything
just dropped
you say.
into this part of the conversation.
So good.
Oh my god, he's a small bean.
Yeah. You still think I'm a big bean? No. Look at this.
He's so small.
No, but like I had a moment with 630. 630 is like, is it that good of a song? Not really, but it's so hokey and cheesy that I kind of love it.
That sucks.
No, it's the good kind of suck though. And on 2020, when like election
Speaking
day,
of vacuum game, by the way.
on election day in 2020, I was like so worried about the fall of democracy that I got my ass up to vote in person, and Ubered, triple masked up to go to a polling place, and was like 20th in line, crack of dawn. And when I submitted my ballot, 6:30 came on, and I checked my phone, and it was 6:30 a.m.
Wow.
I said, shout out, Ari. We fucking got this shit. We got this.
All right.
Okay, well that explains.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's
Origins
good
here.
now. It's good now.
Wow, your experience does not negate mine, which dictates that it sucks.
Fair. Fair. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, beauty's in the eye of the voter.
But yeah, welcome to the show. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to I mean to listen to that. Let's talk about some highlight songs of Eternal Sunshine. Let's start with you, Dakota. Where are you? What's a highlight song for you?
I think I gotta go with the title track.
Yes.
I agree.
I think
Yes.
that there's something really, I can't quite put my finger even on like the tone of that song or even what she's trying to say. But there's something really like hypnotic and almost like spooky. And like the gravitational pull of that song is like a black hole. And it,
Yeah.
Interstellar. I know.
yeah, exactly.
She loves that movie. Like
Um,
there's a song about TARS or whatever that robot is.
Yes.
There's a song about tar,
It's
Yeah,
called The
also-
Boy Is Mine. Sorry.
yes.
Go ahead.
how she has to direct the Monster Hunter Orchestra at the end of the movie.
But yeah, I can't really like put words on it, but I can just very easily see why she named this album after like that is the title track.
Well, and to add to it, talking about the vibes of it, I think the production on this album is so incredible, especially compared to
Yes.
Positions. That's something that I think contrasts so heavily to me in my mind. Positions feels like I opened GarageBand and sang. Like that's kind of the vibe of a lot of the songs. So like, give me a beat. Okay, that's good. Whereas so much of this feels so meticulous and so purposeful.
Mhm.
Like Eternal Sunshine is to me like the peak of that, where it's like the way that it sounds, the way that her voice like lays over the instrumentation. I just think it's like gorgeous to listen to. Like you say, it's almost hypnotic and you can't even really think about the song because it's so good.
Yeah, the vocals are so effortless. And then that melody is also so easy for anyone to like follow, but she makes it so much more textured with her vocals and the tricks that she does with the wordplay. It's an amazing song. Really, really good song.
Yeah. I think it's like also like the therapy, like kind of she's still processing whatever she's going through, but there's a clarity to what she's saying. You know, like there's a clarity of like, this is how I feel. Like this isn't a processed feeling, but this is how I feel. There's that. Like the line about like hope you feel all right when you're in her
It's
is
my
such
favorite line on the album.
it's like it's not like bittersweet, but it's bitter in a sweet way. You know, like it's like
Yes.
like it's not a line where you're like Jesus Christ, that's like that's a lot of, it's like balsamic vinegar in a way, like that kind of bitterness. It's really great.
Is
It's
it?
Go ahead, Michael.
No, you say. What
I was gonna say, like, it's that word, all right. Right? Like if she said like hope you feel good or great or shitty, it would evoke a really stronger response and like a holy fuck or holy shit. But to say hope you feel all right, it's just so passive aggressive, but also very authentic. You know, it's like how do you feel for people that didn't work out with you? Like you can just say, like, you know what, I hope your life goes all right. You know, I won't be a part of it. I won't pay attention to it. So whether it's great or disgusting, I won't know. So let's go with all right. You know, and to be that the visual of having sex and then it being all right too is also like the biggest dig.
But
You know
also
what I mean?
like hope, like there's also like some goodwill, like hope you feel all right. You know, like,
Yes.
there's a little
Yes.
bit of that too. Michael, what's the highlight for you?
One more note, real quick, on Eternal Sunshine. Just something funny I thought about while I was listening to this. When she says, "Yet you play me like Atari," I thought about like on this re-listen. Who would have thought this year we'd have Atari and Nintendo in two big pop songs?
The
Like
console wars are back.
the console wars are back with the pop girls, Sabrina versus Ariana, Nintendo versus
When will they
Atari.
do the lyric? Hope they play you like GameCube or whatever. Like,
Hope they play you like a station.
When's
That's a
Game
bar.
Gear?
I like that.
When's Game Gear gonna get its time in the sun?
Shout out.
Dreamcast, Sega
Yeah.
Saturn.
Shout out all of that. All the goods.
I could see Nikki doing something like something fun, something Xbox One. You know, there's something there too.
And that would suck.
Yeah, but she would do it.
Like, oh boy, you got Game Pass.
Fun.
We can edit that one out. That was terrible.
No, that is good. That's a clip. That is a promo clip right there.
Okay.
Michael, highlight.
Another highlight for me, for sure. My number one highlight on this album. I couldn't believe it when I heard this for the first time, and I still think it's amazing. Supernatural. I think Supernatural is like pop music at its finest. It's her working with Max Martin at its finest. It's just so good. Like the strings coming in, like da 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 da, and how her voice kind of meshes with the whole thing. I just love it. I can't get enough of this song. I think I heard it probably 40 times on the first time I listened to this album. I was like, play that again, especially because the song after it's kind of bad. It makes Supernatural feel all that much better. So sorry, didn't mean to.
Yeah, it's like again, it's just
that.
like, hey, like remember, I still know how to make a smash. I still like the
smash hit.
Yeah, I still know how to like make a hit and like craft pop music, like the way like the instrumentals drop out and then it comes back with the extra layered harmonies is so great. I love that.
Yeah, I think she was quoted. No, I think she was quoted saying that she could still make a smash, brothers. Anyway, sorry, Michael.
Okay. Oh.
You better keep that. You better keep that.
All right.
Yeah, you know the way I garden Pikmin. Yeah. On every set that I go to, I pick men.
This is good. We should get hired by her.
I'm kind of doing like Nicki Minaj at her worst. Every single one I do is Nicki Minaj at her worst.
I don't know. So yeah, Cindy, what's a highlight for you?
Oh, The Boy Is Mine.
Wow.
The Boy Is Mine. Yeah, I think it's a fun, cool track. It's sorry, I'm still thinking about the Nintendo jokes. Yeah, I really like it. I love the way that she, again, like the gymnastics that she has, right? Like the boy is mine. It's like she keeps you like hanging, right? It's like, and it's so clever that she's doing this on a song where she's kind of saying, like, taking claim to her guy, and I think it puts, Michael, you mentioned the shitty song that we're gonna talk about, True Story, at some point. So it's like True Story happens, you're like, oh fuck. And then The Boy Is Mine gets you back into the rhythm of things too on the album. So I think that's why it makes it an even bigger highlight for me, is that I was vibing until True Story, and I got back onto that vibe. So yeah, it's a big highlight.
I love The Boy Is Mine so much. Like that, the first time I heard, like I've seen some like reactions on the internet, and like I always just try to scrub for where The Boy Is Mine is, and the first time that people hear that like pregnant pause, where
Mhm.
like people are like, what? Like what? It's such like a simple thing, and it's kind of like what you were saying. Like this song is probably the most provocative that she gets about her personal life that, you know, has caused so much derision. And it's cool that she found a way to sort of bring that into the song itself, where there's all this build up to the chorus, and then right before she does that sort of Spartan charge of like, yeah, that's my man that I won. Like there's that pause where it's almost like, do I really want to do this? And then
Mhm.
it's just, nope, I do. The boy is
Yeah.
mine. Like this is my conquest. And you know, it's awesome.
Yeah, I want
Mhm.
it, I got it. You know, it's like that idea. Like, you know,
Mhm.
like um yeah, I like this is also the remix I like the most of all the songs. I don't really like the other two remixes of the album. Like but it's the Brandy and Monica version is very
Oh,
much
I
like
agree. Well, the
yeah.
Troye Sivan one is effectively nothing. The Yes and one is actively bad, and
Yes,
the
for
Brandy
sure.
and Monica one adds things to it.
Yeah, it's like it is like Force Awakens though. It's just like, you know, Chewie, we're home. The boy is mine. It's sort of like that idea. Like,
What
but
is
yeah,
this piece of junk? Some kind of Millennium Falcon?
yeah,
Okay, also, Game Boy is mine, by the way,
yeah.
just so you guys know.
Oh,
What is this? Some sort of aphrodisiac? This hunk of no, it's the Brandy album. Okay, anyways, so my highlight is don't want to break up again. Like, I like that she's the way she uses therapy terms like self-soothe and codependency. Like she's naming her patterns so that she could either keep doing them or eventually or break them. And I think a lot like this album is breaking a cycle with this one person and then starting it up with this
Mhm.
new guy. So it's yeah, I think it's so interesting though. It's like, but she's also like wrestling with like she doesn't want to be hurt. She doesn't want to unnecessarily hurt other people, but also she had like she's suffering so much so that she needs someone like, you know, in Ethan Slayer to make her feel like she does in Imperfect for You. Like, yeah, who doesn't want to feel like how she feels in Imperfect for You? That's another highlight. It's just like this perfect
Mhm.
love song. It's this perfect like oh, we're enough for each other. Oh, blah 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 blah. Yeah, but Michael, you're like shaking your head no on that song.
I just don't like how Imperfect for You sounds. I know she's
I
doing the
like the
like
sound of it. Yeah.
atonality on purpose to kind of mesh with the theme of the song, but I don't want to hear that from her. I think she's so talented that I don't want to hear her employ her talents to make something sound off a little bit, which is the intent in that song, I feel. I just don't like it very. It doesn't hit my ear pleasantly in the same way the rest
I
of the album
like that
does.
she I like that she did it. You know?
Mhm.
Like
Hmm.
I kind of like that I maybe this is like more about the entirety of the project itself, but like with Imperfect for You, I appreciate that Ari is like willing to let herself explore artistically things that aren't suiting her strengths. Like they're just kind of like she's just like I want to do this thing. And that like
Mhm.
even going back further like positions, you're right. That does kind of sound like she just opened up GarageBand or whatever and was like I just want to make this like I'm engaged now, which means I have to make a love album about the new person I'm in love with. Like it's
And the music video. What if a woman was the president?
that we think what if we won't have to wonder much longer.
We did
um
it, SpongeBob.
we did it Bob. um but like I appreciate that she's like doing it if nothing else to like denote these signposts of like I did it. And she manages to do like this experimentation, um in such like a concise manner where it feels like there's just constantly something at stake with her, or that she has something to say, and that she's not making these things to make things. And this, it's nice that she can make something that's like a half hour long as opposed to 2 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know?
this album leaves you wanting more, like, which is like really good.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, this is not a subtweet. This is directly at Taylor Swift.
A sub X blast is what it's called now. But like
The Eternal Sunshine Department.
let's go through lowlights real quick. We could return to some highlights in the stray observation section. Any lowlights of this album?
True story.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yep.
True story.
I'm gonna say
No,
I like
come
True
on.
Story.
Come on.
Yeah.
Vocally, it's
yeah.
really strong.
Yeah.
It's like vocally, it's really strong. But
Look, I like the blap, blap, blap. I
No
like
wonder
that.
you like positions.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Like, look,
Sorry, I don't know why I'm being mean to our guests. I never do this. I'm sorry.
it's fine, man. Like I said, I'm allowed to have bad takes.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, you can have bad takes. I'll just note the bad takes. I'm writing it down as we speak.
Please.
The one thing I'll say about this song, I did like the lyric, I'll play the villain if you need me to, and then later on, I'll play the bad girl if you need me to. I like that
And be good at it too.
Yes, yeah. So that was a really cool flip on her position and how she's being interpreted. But yeah, the song itself is just very forgettable. Like the album is so good, and like I can imagine it being even better. Like maybe
Yes.
perfect without that there, right? Like
I also think this is a true story about da 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 da. Like I think that's like a shitty way to start a song. I think it's like me telling you a story, guys. This is gonna be a funny story. Like inherently, you're gonna not want to hear. You're gonna not want to laugh at my story because I couched it with what I think it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if a comedian came to you and was like, "This is my best joke," and then told like a pretty good joke, I'd be like, "Is that your best joke?" You know what I mean? That's,
Are you talking about Bert Kreischer?
Sure. I don't know. I don't know that guy.
I know Bert Kreischer. I don't know enough of his material to like go like, yeah, that's right. Like him.
Honestly, he just sucks. Everyone just talks about that one time he got drunk on like a Russian train, and they're like, "That was crazy." And but he couches it in saying it's a true story. Bad bit. Cut it out.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Do you want me to, here's my best joke, okay? Like JD Vance couches it. No, that's
nice.
All right. Now
Nice.
we're getting the gas.
That's my best joke. It's the
You guys
funniest
want me
thing
to talk
I'll
about the
ever say.
Aragon Theater again?
Okay, low light, Saturn, Sun, skip. I don't care. Like, I genuinely don't care.
Oh,
about
her
that.
fortune teller telling me about.
She's like, just I do
Or
like,
astrologist or whatever.
I do appreciate it, like, oh, like they're so therapy, but also like astrologists, like palm reader, any some people like that, like just trying to find any sort of like answers to her problems and her questions. So I guess that's kind of interesting. The collabs I think are low light for me. Like I know it's not on the main album, but the Troye Sivan kind of one is like mention not sing like in that song.
I think he sounds good, and I just think he adds pretty much nothing to it.
It's like it feels like he like the song was finished and then Ariana played it for her and she's like, here, sing over this right now. Like
yes.
Get on the water slide, go on it right now.
Yeah, it's a little like ooh.
Yeah.
Like that's the only thing he adds to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and yes, and Mariah Carey version. I'm sorry.
So bad.
I do want to just bring it up. It sucks.
It's so bad.
It's
like two people yelling over each other. And yes, and I actually do like it doesn't sound like the rest of the album, but it's fun to have that like injected pop kind of old school pop, like Madonna style pop music in there. I think that's really fun. But with Mariah Carey on it, it's giving me around one of my louder friends, and then we just like escalate the room till we're both screaming.
The funny thing is this is not even the first time that Ariana has done this with like a classic. I don't want to say classic, but like an older pop artist from a couple decades ago. She did this song a couple years ago in like 2017 with Christina Aguilera on her on an album. I can't remember the name of it. But it's this song called Fall in Line. and it's this like slow song, and her and Christina Aguilera are like,
No, that's not Ariana Grande. That's not Ariana Grande.
Who is it?
That is Demi Lovato.
no. Oh, that's super embarrassing.
No,
Okay.
but I agree that is a hot mess. I was like,
Yeah.
I would know if Ariana Grande sang with Christina Aguilera on record.
Okay,
that would break the sound. Like that's one of the 7 horsemen of the apocalypse is those two singing together.
I mean that song "Fall in Line" is like
Not good.
It's like the pop girl version of like Goku fighting Frieza, where it's just like holy shit, this is like way too much. Like this is 20 episodes. Like
For sure,
chill.
yes.
We keep powering up. We get it.
Yeah, and also like Mariah's on Ariana's playing field, so it's already imbalanced. So she has to like overcompensate with her vocals to like it just sounds it doesn't match. Like
Also, sorry,
yeah.
Mariah's voice doesn't do this anymore, so it's giving like Mariah AI, like misspell Mariah, you know.
The sequel to the
and Megan sequel Mariah AI. It's not confusing to say. It won't be confusing to read.
Mariah AI is really all right.
You could say that Mimi got emancipate.
Oh, yeah, it's no good. Like, they're better off like singing at like a Christmas concert together instead of this. Like, this is not.
Well, you know, they
not the
also
place.
have that too with Jennifer Hudson, and that's a hot mess too.
Yeah, for sure.
Last Christmas with
What is
Jimmy
that song?
Fallon.
They have a song, the 3 of them. That was for a Christmas thing.
Yeah, it was Jimmy Fallon, Ariana. I think it's Meg the Stallion.
No, it is
They
"Oh
just, like,
Santa"
sing
with
together.
Mariah Carey, Ariana Grande, and Jennifer Hudson. You guys need to listen to that. It is pretty wild.
3 of the 7 horsemen. Like,
No, literally. Demi Lovato, Christina Aguilera. Who else?
Nikki. Anyways, okay, there's enough of that. Yeah,
Jessie
throw her on
J.
there. Yeah. I wonder if those 3 are still friends, by the way. Nikki, Ariana, Jessie J.
If you test them, you'll be sorry.
Yeah, like any other lowlights or stray observations. Any lowlights, I guess. Yeah, let's start.
It's like I don't really count the remixes as part of the album. Like, yeah, they're part of the like Eternal Sunshine cinematic universe, but I'll agree with you guys that True Story is probably the weakest here.
Even
the
though you
intro
just said it was your favorite song she's ever written.
No, I would give it like I don't know. Like Ari doesn't really have that many like outright bad songs in my opinion. But yeah, it's probably the worst here. The intro is fine.
Yeah, I agree. Fine.
Like
He's cute.
I think the interlude is even fine. Like yeah, it's not that good, but it's a 40-second interlude. Like
it's so short it doesn't.
My time is so
I don't
precious.
even bother skip.
Yeah, like I don't know what am I gonna do with that extra 40 seconds? You know,
I don't even bother skipping it exactly because it's
Right.
like it's fine.
Yeah, I think sometimes like I guess maybe I have like some ambivalent feelings towards "I Wish I Hated You."
Oh, I wanted to say that I love that song. Sorry.
too.
Good song. Yeah.
But sometimes I also love it too. Like it truly just depends on when
Your
I'm
mood.
listening to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's like a relatable feeling because I like you sometimes you want to feel a certain way about things. I think that's like I said, it's a little bit more complicated than you expect from your pop stars saying like, I wish you were worse to me so I could hate you more, but I don't.
Yeah.
Like that's interesting, you know?
I love just like the observation I wrote down is like the "We Can't Be Friends" to "I Wish I Hated You." Like she's doing like it's like the difference between like solitude versus isolation, where solitude she's like the line about like so for now it's only me and maybe that's all I need. Like it's like the difference between solitude and isolation, where like she's engaging with herself and healing instead of like isolation, which is like escape or like running away from her problems or trying to soothe in a different way. And then so the fruit of solitude is compassion, where like she is able to feel compassionately for this other person and not think of him as like a character in the villain or a character in a movie or something like that. Oh, this is a real human being. Hey, we tried our best. you're not a bad person. We just we're just incompatible with each other, and I wish you well. Like yeah, and it wasn't that bad even. Like it wasn't even that bad. It was just like wasn't the right thing, you know.
Yeah, like lyrically, that song, like "I Wish I Hated You," normalizes these massive celebrity relationships, right? Like here she is on this like other planet, but yet she can have a relationship where it's like, yeah, we broke up just because, it wasn't that something dramatic happened. It just, I mean, in the kind of in theory, and so you could just like break up with somebody and not hate them or love them or nothing. It just kind of it is what it is. And I wrote a note that for me it sounds like that moment in a musical where the main character is having that emotional breakthrough or realization with the audience, and like so much kind of fun, crazy, like outlandish stuff happens in a musical, and then there's just that note in that spotlight, usually with again the main character, and she's singing something really sincere and pure, and like you feel like, okay, like we're actually in that room with that character, and it's no longer a performance. It's more of a real kind of intimate session that you're able to have, and it
Yeah.
feels like you're the only one that's there, and that's why I love that song. So it's such a good song. It's a great way to end an album. Like if she stopped with that, I think it would have made it even more impactful, because it would have remained super inconclusive, you
Mm.
know?
What?
So
Sorry, go ahead.
I still feel like it kind of ends on like a similar-ish note with Ordinary Things. Like it maybe just like a little more. It's just like a little more of like an optimistic angle, because like the final trio of songs, like that is about as like uh undeclared Ariana has ever been. Like the last three songs are like, yeah, we broke up. Like, I don't know. I wish I could be like angry at something because I'm experiencing some complicated emotions, but like that's not what it was.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I'm not that good of a person, maybe, but also like I kind of like hanging out with you, and like, yeah, this might not work out, but it feels good right now.
Mhm.
Like those three shrugs in a row are such like a far cry from Pete Davidson.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Loud
but
and
then
proud instead of like eh.
Yeah.
But then like Nona comes in, right? And like she starts the album with the question, like, how can I tell if I'm in the right relationship? And then Nona answers that question. Like, if you don't feel comfortable kissing that person goodnight, then you're in the wrong place. So it's like it's for me, that kind of creates the arc of the story that we're going through
Yeah.
in this on this album. And so if you didn't have like Nona, then maybe you're kind of like, okay, well, did you answer that, Ariana? Now we have an answer, not from her, but from her person.
Yeah. I think it's also great that like she cut off Nona before she got into her opinions about vaccinations and stuff. Like they cut off the track. Like
Yes.
there was like 30 more minutes of like stuff she was gonna say. But
And
like
then after he came home from the train, you'll
No,
never
no,
guess
no,
what
no.
happened.
But like the Stanley's point about the musical, like we'll wrap up in a second, but like the idea of the intro is the I want song of like, one, I want to know if I'm in the right relationship. Two, if the moon went dark tonight, would I be the one on your mind? That's the I want song in the musical. And then she gets what she wants in Imperfect for You with this new relationship. And then Ordinary Things is like, yes, I have it, but there's an escape hatch for my own
Mhm.
self-protection. For the line I love from Don't Want to Break Up Again is like this idea of like, I won't abandon me for you and I.
Yes.
That's the thing that's like the difference between this album and Thank You Next and all the other
Mhm.
ones and stuff. Like, hey, there's a temporal nature to these relationships is about staying present. A lot of therapy is about staying present, and I think that's great.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Like
So
how
yeah,
Christmas is about getting present.
yeah, that's what it's all about. Therapy is like the thing I learned is like you got to get a lot of presents. Like,
Sorry, I saw a thing that said, "Are you actually listening or just waiting to talk?" the other day, and I've really been thinking about that for no reason. I'm thinking
you
saying
haven't
that
like
right now.
internalized that idea though.
Like literally the whole time Andrew's talking, you're thinking about that one thing.
I'm like
It's
present,
not like,
present,
how
present,
can I internalize these lessons in
Yeah.
my own life?
present.
Yeah.
What you know? What present? Christmas.
Yeah.
So let's go through final thoughts and ratings. The way this works is we'll rate this album out of 10 with a fun metric at the end. Let's start with Dakota. Where are you at with this?
Well, how do you guys usually do this? Like, are we
Just
on like
like,
the
yap
10
on,
scale
yeah,
or
yeah,
the
10,
Yeah, the
1 out of
10.
10 links,
uh
like something from the album.
One
yeah,
of us
yeah.
can go first if you'd rather to
Yeah,
get an
yeah.
example.
I want to leave it to the experts here first.
No, I'm just trying to help. I'm not trying to
No,
take
I
your
don't want to
spot.
be the canary in the coal mine here.
I can go. I'll go.
Yes,
It's a good album. It's really fun. It's really nostalgic. A lot of like 1990s R&B tones to it, which I really love. I'm gonna give this 8.7 rings is a bop out of 10.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, I really love this record. I think it's like pretty up there in like my top 10 of the year so far. It's been a really competitive like year for great music. And the fact that this is like in the top 10 is still really strong. Um, I will say there's like it's all the songs are excellent and what she's saying is so interesting and it's such a great progression for Ariana's career and I'm like so happy for her. But there's also a lot there's just like something missing to prevent it like, oh, this is a masterpiece. This is a stone cold masterpiece. This is going to be a part of my life forever. There's
It's
just a
kind of
little
too
thing.
short to be a masterpiece, in my opinion. That's mostly it.
Yeah, maybe there's that. Like, but yeah, I guess like yeah, I don't know. I guess like the maybe the shrugging at the end of the album maybe contributes to that a little bit too. Like it's not like, hey, and this is the meaning of every existence, and like like it doesn't really do that. So I'm gonna give it 9 positions. I switched to dishes into my dish rack out of 10. So
Nice. Dakota, you or me?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree with what everyone's saying. I think that this while
thank you.
uh while this does kind of feel like a return to stakes being found in her music after Positions, I do think that maybe how brief it is, uh and sort of that inconclusive nature does sort of prevent it from like reaching into like we need to talk about this, like this is one of the most daring crazy albums of all time. But like I think that it still exists like outside of that like
It
in the
exists
realm
in a
of
context.
yes, it exists. It exists in the context of being a very, very good album that will likely be high on my end of year list, even if it's not like an album that I'm like going up to people and violently shaking, saying, like, wake up. You used to date Jim Carrey and you met him in Montauk, you know? Um, so I'm gonna give this like an 8.7. I'm gonna give it 8.7 oversized sleeves
Yeah, yep,
out of
there you
10.
go.
Love it, love it. By the way, this album was on Peter's watch list because of how many stakes it had. Anyways,
Whoa!
Like, by the way, like also her
Oh, Michael always brings a sizzle. I love that.
like
On the
steak,
stakes,
like
like-
steak fajitas.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Also, the next album is gonna be her. Like the end of the album is gonna be like her jumping over a cliff and going, like, "Oh, will I make it?" Like it's like God, like that. Those are the stakes introduced. Also,
What millennial movie is it going to be shaped after for that?
The next album ends with "Oh wow," and you're like, "There's a part 2 coming out in 3 years to this album. What the hell?" Okay,
what the hell?
what
The Tim Roth-
what the hell?
The Tim Robinson. It makes me laugh. It's so funny. Okay.
I really, really like this album. It at what on first listen, it felt kind of generic, similar to Positions for me. But as I've heard it more and more, I've really grown to really love this, and I do really love this album. I'm gonna give this 9. Oh my god, guys, this is the funniest story I've ever told you. Out of 10.
Good. That's good.
Mhm. All right. Well, yeah, that was our review of Eternal Sunshine by Ariana Grande. I think it was a good one. Yeah, thank you so much, Dakota. It was so lovely to meet you. I really admire your writing. You're such like the thing is like our show is like I'm not negativity forward. like in our show, like like I'm not really
Where's this
negative.
going?
What?
Like I'm like I try not to review things. If
Not
it's
like you fucking hater.
Yeah. I mean, I'll wear my hater cap with pride.
yeah. But like, there's like, we're not like at least I'm not like, I'm not negativity forward in that way of like, I don't review things if it's like, oh, I hate this. This is an evil project that should like be made fun of. But the thing is like, I feel like I don't feel like worthy to do it if I'm not as good as you or good as like Kendrick at like hating people or hating artists or hating albums and stuff like that. So
Dakota, you're a great hater. You're such a good hater.
I do kind of take it as a compliment because like I do think like it's so easy to it's easy to be a hater, right? And it's like financially incentivized in the wake of like angry video game nerd and like how many YouTube channels are just like, this is the worst thing I've ever heard. Like, I can't believe it. And, some guys getting like a 3-bedroom house in a nice neighborhood off of that just for saying like, oh, yeah, the Eternals was a mediocre, like the Eternals was a 7-hour, like a 7-hour YouTube video is an unmitigated disaster. Like it's easy to do that. But I think like, there is an
Please
art.
do not come for my girl Jenny Nicholson like this.
No, I love Jenny Nicholson. Right, Jenny Nicholson is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the peak. Yeah,
she like hating is an art, and too many people think that just because you have a megaphone, you're a good hater.
Right? She's like, here's my 8 pieces of research on every single point I'm making here.
Yeah, like to truly articulate like why something is bad, like. I think it takes like a lot of work, and I hope to be above just being a hater, but I can't deny that it's fun. And like it does take a lot more work than just thing like woke. Like
thing bad, be good for knowing thing bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The take I think about, like, first of all, your Certified Lover Boy review is so funny, but also like the recently your J. Cole take of like he's Jordan Peterson is such a vicious attack on his thing that like Kendrick didn't even need to like attack him. Like, yeah, you got
like so
see above.
Yeah, so terrible. He did not even pimp that butterfly. That butterfly did not come out of its cocoon. Like that's if I was Jordan Peterson.
That's so good.
I've worked on it. I've worked on my JPs.
That's so funny.
Okay. So yeah, like where can people find you, Dakota? What's your deal?
Where can people? I review music on Sputnikmusic. It's been my schedule's been pretty bad with that, admittedly, because I've been so busy. You can find me on Instagram. I actually just had to look at my phone to remember what my handle was, but it's down_with_fun, and I'm also on Twitter. I think I'm at down with fun. Then the number 1.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe I'll make a YouTube channel. It's kind of
yeah, it'll be fun. You should do it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely.
Like I've listened to some episodes. I've seen some clips. It's a good time, and this was a fun chat.
Oh yeah. Well, you can follow us at IBMTLTT on all platforms. You can follow me at Andrew Ambrose Lee on all platforms, Stenley at Snap-a-Sten on all platforms, and Michael at Lemon Taco on all platforms. A Patreon show is coming soon. I've been meaning to watch that. Our first episode is what's it called? The Death Becomes Her. Yep, that's very exciting. And Megan Rika Young did our artwork, and Otness did our theme song. That's really cool. And Dakota, any final thoughts? Any things you want to leave the audience with before we execute you?
Try positions while washing dishes. It'll change your life.
Try positions while washing dishes. Try
positions while washing dishes. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good day. Click.